Growing up, we get called to do very different things at different times. Hi, this is Rabbi Andy, Temple Emmanuel in Greensboro, North Carolina. And right now, I've just been thinking a little bit about the different phases of our life. It may be because this coming weekend, we're going to be celebrating the bat mitzvah of someone in our community who's just one of the jewels of this community. It may also be because my 60th birthday is coming up also this weekend, and just knowing that as time passes, things don't stay the same, and that's okay. Moses, if you take a look at this week's Torah portion, it starts off, we're starting a new book of the Torah, by the way, but it starts off with Moses being called by God. Now, this is not the first time that Moses has been called by God. And we know the story, for example, of Moses being called into action by God and him reluctantly answering. And we know that he will be called by God at many other times to fill different roles. Early on in his life, it was just to go in to talk to Pharaoh. But later on, he's going to be the one who goes on top of Mount Sinai to bring us Torah and the Ten Commandments. And then we're going to see him in different roles, especially as Torah continues. But here we are at the beginning of this new book of the Torah, the book of Leviticus, which in Hebrew is called Vayikra, right? God calls out to Moses, and this time it's different, right? Moses, here's what you need to do, or at least the way you need to instruct those who would be the priests in our community. Now, I'm not going to go into the detail of what takes place in this week's Torah portion, but I will say that at different times in our life, we're called to do different things. We might feel like when we're in middle school or we're in high school, we're getting called way too much. We may get into that next phase of life where we're called to be university level students or to take on different adult responsibilities. And as we make our way into the years where we're called upon for work responsibilities, family responsibilities, parenting, and maybe even grandparenting responsibilities, the way that we hear the calls and the way that we respond to the calls might be radically different. We find ourselves in different phases and different stages of our lives, just as Moses and our people find themselves in this week's Torah portion. Now, our people right now is about to head into the period of Passover. Right? We feel called to be a voice for freedom. We also feel called to our higher selves. And I maybe could guess that we're all hearing different calls at this time, not just the ones that come on our phones, not just the voices coming from other rooms asking us to respond, but also to really rise to our higher callings, which may be different at different phases in our lives, different chapters in our lives, different books of our lives. So as we start this new book of Torah, this new phase in our lives, I turn to you and wish you tremendous blessing. May this be a Shabbat filled with everything that you need, and may you hear or be aware of where you're needed next and where that next call is taking you. Shabbat Shalom.